Hello, Iris Zero here. Hope you're all well. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. And it's good to be back online. No thanks to whichever crappy neighbor in my building is basically destroying the internet router, and where basically my internet is like non-existent. But it's back up and running, and I hope he can go fuck himself. Anyway, so I just got back from seeing Captain America: Civil War, and first off, this is a non-spoiler review. Anything I reference about the movie is going to be from the trailers. But even if you haven't watched the trailers, you should probably skip. But there's going to be no real spoilers. So, first off, my biggest concern when I went to see it is I've already read the books for Civil War, so my fear was, do I already know what happens? And the answer is no. They only loosely base it on Civil War. It is a typical story where something happens and the heroes kind of split. Captain America says, no, we shouldn't be registered, or we shouldn't work for the government, and Iron Man says, yes, we should, and they fight each other. But that's where the similarities end. Everything else is its own story. So, while there wasn't any like, oh my god, that's a huge shocker, it was a pretty good movie. I really, really loved it, especially the kind of unwanted taste that the Avengers left in my mouth. So some other questions I had: what's Spider-Man like? We've seen him in the trailers, you knew he was going to be in the film. I really, really liked Spider-Man. Firstly, it was good to actually see a teenager as Spider-Man. He was really good. He was the way Spider-Man should have been, or should be. He was fun, and it just shows, hey, this is what happens when Marvel gets their characters back. They can make them really, really good. And I can't wait to see what he turns into in his own movie. There wasn't enough to kind of really judge whether or not he was a good Spider-Man or Peter Parker, but it definitely gave me hope that Spider-Man Homecoming will be pretty good. So what else? It was all the fight scenes, all the action scenes, because it's an action movie. They were really, really good, but it wasn't filled with CG. While I'm sure a lot of CG was used, it wasn't as overdone like I thought Age of Ultron was. And the fight scene looked really good, really kind of close. There was it wasn't a huge all-out epic fight, even when all the heroes were fighting each other. It didn't seem like this huge grand scale thing, even though there were one or two bits. The action was good. It wasn't loud noise, which a lot of these things can be. And no one overshadowed Captain America, which was another thing I was worried about, because you had Tony Stark, you had Robert Downey Jr., but he was just there as Iron Man. It wasn't like this wasn't Iron Man 4. And another thing which I loved, particularly about the story, when I read Civil War, the book, I was 100% Captain America. I was on his side. I thought Iron Man was a bit of an asshole, especially in the book. This isn't in the film. Captain America, basically, they cloned Thor and used them against Captain America. Wasn't in this. Thor isn't in this movie, by the way, so that's not really spoiler, because when it's saying what's not in the movie. Oh, and also there are 2 end credit scenes, so you'd probably want to stick around for the end. The last one, it's cool, but it doesn't really do anything major. So if you like the end credit scenes, there's 2. And so what point was I making about Iron Man? Oh yeah, when I read Civil War, it was a clear cut, I'm on Team Captain America. This one, while I was on the side of Captain America, it wasn't as black and white, where I kind of thought, Iron Man, yeah, I can kind of be on his side, because he wasn't a jerk about it, like a guilt-ridden jerk about it. But I liked it. I liked everyone in it, all the characters, including the new additions of Spider-Man and Black Panther. I thought I can't wait to see what his movie's going to be. So yeah, overall I really, really like Civil War. It was a good movie. Honestly, even though Captain America was the star, he was clearly the star. This, you could very easily have just called this the Avengers Civil War, because yes, it didn't have the Hulk or Thor. It could still, it was an Avengers movie, and maybe going as far as saying this is the Avengers movie that Age of Ultron should have been. Obviously, without the Age of Ultron. So I would highly recommend it. If you haven't seen Civil War, if you don't know if you will, go see Civil War. It's a great movie. You don't need it from me. I mean, last I checked, it was on like at 97% of Rotten Tomatoes. So there you go. People seem to really, really like this. Well, anyway, that's it for me for today and this week. So until Monday, probably do a review on WWE Payback. Till then, I should say to you all, have a good one.